What's going on YouTube? It has been a long time. Don't get me wrong, I've made it a point here and there to try to record a video, try to make something relevant. Just hasn't worked. But number one, I do want to thank all the people that have subscribed, the people that have commented, liked my videos, everyone that has stayed subscribers. Some of that is kind of effortless. I myself have many things that I've subscribed to and I just don't go back and unsubscribe. Going through a lot of my comments, just today I had a correspondent I had to send to the state. It was like, wow, I haven't really been on my YouTube account in a while, so why not check that out? Because I also hadn't really been on my laptop in a long time. And I know there's mad glare on my glasses, so let me see if I can do that. That might help a little bit. I'm gonna try to cover up the account number and everything. So this company has sent me, and I'm hoping that you can see the balance that they're requesting. It's a company called Convergent, as you can clearly read. And I know when I do that, my eyes look a little crossed. I do have whatever. If I look out this eye, we're good. If I look out this eye, it's like, that's a pretty good one, right? Water boy or whatever. So this goes all the way back to a couple videos I made regarding a company called Suntrust Bank. Suntrust had, I think it was December 2019, was absorbed, they merged with what is called Banking Branch and Trust, better known as BB&T. They and Suntrust merged. Well, there's a deal on here. I don't think it showed it there. Maybe. Yeah, so it says the records of Truist Bank, successor to Suntrust Bank. Oh, yep, it did show it. So it's kind of hard to show. Maybe I can bend this so you see if I can get it close enough that you can see. It does say Truist Bank, successor to Suntrust Bank. So I had a couple comments that I was actually going through saying, well, banks are not going to send stuff to your creditor, or not to your creditor, but to the credit reporting agencies. And I argued in a comment actually today that maybe the bank themselves might not, but the banks will then send it to a collection agency, and the collection agency will then be like, oh, we haven't collected this debt. This person doesn't pay their bills. And this goes all the way back to the first and yet second video, which was kind of a follow-up. Tried to close my account. Their policy was they're going to keep the account open for, I think I quoted 35 days. I think it was 30, but every 30 days they have a processing fee or maintenance fee. So even if you don't do anything, they're going to be like, well, you still have an account. So boom, it's like a $3, I think, was their fee. The fact that they were merged and then this company became the successor to Suntrust, because of that, there's things that they were going to get in trouble for, as far as I'm understanding. I don't want to misspeak, but I believe there were things they were going to get in trouble for. And now they're free and clear. But they're still going to hold accounts over people's heads for fraud banking, I believe, is what I would call it. If you subscribe to a magazine, and then you're like, call them up, hey, I don't want it no more, stop billing me. As long as there's not like a 1-year agreement or a contract, you just like, hey, I don't want it no more. Like, I have Metro PCS. I could just go to them and be like, hey, close my phone account. I don't want it no more. They're going to close it, and I'm not going to get another month of like, oh, you didn't pay. Kind of a terrible example, because they're not going to hold me. If I don't pay, they just close it. But what I argued in my second video about Suntrust was, after so many days of not paying all this overdraft, extended overdraft, late fees and all that, they disabled the account. And it's like, my argument was, why couldn't they do that the day I walked in the bank and had to argue with 3 different bank managers and the top, I guess, owner or top manager for an hour plus? Why couldn't they just disable, close, block everything, be done with? Why couldn't they do that when I walked in there? Well, the policy is a loophole. Well, we got to keep it open for 30 days. Don't process anything. Don't have any transactions. And then it'll be closed. But on the 30th day, you get a free fee for $3. You get to keep your account active. whether you want it to be or not. And if you don't have the $3, boom, you get an overdraft. And then they're going to give you interest on it because it's late. And then it's an extended overdraft fee because you don't pay it. And when you call, they're like, oh, don't worry about it. We'll take care of it. And then they're going to send you another letter with another fee. And what a $3 fee after, 2.5 years, I guess, is brought it to what they want me to pay is $128.95. Now, funny thing is, their words, I'll just read it. It says, the notice is being sent to you by a collection agency. The records of Truist Bank, successor to Suntrust Bank, show that your account has been past due and a balance of $128.95. Our client has advised us that they are willing to satisfy your account for 50% of the total balance. Goes on to talk about to take advantage of this, you have to call or whatever, send within so many days, and they would accept $64.48. Now, if you receive anything like this, I do want to let you know, if you have a collection agency doing this, they're going to report it to the credit reporting agency whether you do or don't pay. And if you do pay it, that's an admission of debt. So if you pay it, that's saying, yeah, the debt was valid, when in this case, I'm arguing that the debt is not, as it's fraudulent banking. And if any of you have had any issues with this, with BB&T, Suntrust, or Truist, and you've received anything from Convergent, which I read that right, Convergent Outsourcing Incorporated, if you received anything of this, I'd love to hear from you in the comment section below. By the way, if you have not subscribed to this channel, I do a lot of things with lawn care as well as banking stuff. I'm kind of moving more into like the consumer side of things. And generally, I just like to share things that I think are actually worthwhile for people to look into or check out, as it generally makes life easier, like avoiding a terrible bank. So with that, if you've had any letters from them, I'd love to hear. Now, it does say, oh yeah, the back. So it says, unless you notify this office within 30 days after receiving this notice that you dispute the validity of this debt, or any portion thereof, this office will assume the debt is valid. So in other words, if you don't call them and say, hey, BS, they're just going to say, yep, it's 100% valid. Let alone, they might have sent it to the wrong address. Keep that in mind. Now, what they explain is the office will obtain verification of the debt or obtain a copy of the judgment and mail you a copy of such judgment or verification. So when you call or write them and say, hey, this is not valid, I'm sorry for the wobble, I have this coming from my phone, which is propped against my laptop, which is sitting on a Tupperware thing, so trying to keep it not so wobbly, but hopefully better camera quality than it has been in the past. So when you call them or write them and say, hey, you guys are out your B, they're supposed to be like, okay, well, if you're disputing it, we're going to obtain valid information that verifies this debt is legit, and they're supposed to mail it to you. This was back in April 17th, 2020, April this year. And I called them, I think I got it on the 20th, somewhere around there. Somebody's going to look it up and be like, oh, that was a Sunday, you're lying. It was somewhere within a few days. I got it, I called, requested verification, could not understand anybody, hung up, called 3 separate times, finally just overtalked somebody until I said, look, send something to me in the mail, and if you cannot validate it, I'm not going to pay it. And if it goes to the credit reporting agency, I'm going to contest it. So I'm in the process of that. Still haven't heard anything back, as the credit reporting agencies are having a hard time validating it. But it's still on my credit report, and since this came up, my credit score has dropped like 37 points, which kind of sucks me. Since I moved from the last video I made to now, I've brought my credit score up like 120 points. And now it's dropped like 37, almost 40 over an account that was based on fraudulent banking, poor policy. None of which have ever, still yet to today, ever been able to get in writing that those are their policies and that's how they work. They have it online, but I shouldn't, if I'm opening an account, if I'm doing business with a company, anything like that needs to be provided up front. You don't get a car loan and then like 6 months later find out that like, oh, well, if you don't pay it off in 6 months, even though it's a 3-year loan, if you don't pay it in 6 months, we get the car back. Any policy like that needs to be provided to you, whether it be fine print or not. It needs to be provided to you. It's part of how things work with business. Well, They haven't been able to provide anything. They're hitting my credit score, and it's almost impossible to get it removed because even the credit reporting agencies can't like disprove it, nor can anybody actually prove it. So I just wanted to kind of make this update to talk to you guys about that. See if anybody else has had anything similar to this. It really is a shame. And sure, some people, like I've said in other videos, some people have had perfect experience. Pay power to you. Since I moved, I currently now bank with JP Morgan Chase. There's probably not a lot that people enjoy about them either. I have not had any issues with them, so I don't really know how it is to close an account with them, but I get a check, I cash it. It's before I can even, like, if I go in person and cash it, it doesn't even take for the time for me to walk out the bank and get in my car. It posts. Direct deposit, it's sometimes it's a day early, which is awesome. No issues ever. So, and even with the stimulus, like, they offset, not for me particularly, but people that had Chase. I got a notification and an email saying if you were negative, like if you had overdraft protection on, and you were like negative 100, they brought that to zero. So when the $1,200 stimulus kicked, you got the whole $1,200. They didn't take that difference. And then after the fact later, after a month or so went by, then they came back and said, okay, you still do owe the $100 that was overdraft, but we wanted to make sure that you got the full $1,200, which was a cool thing on their part. It'd be nice if they just waived the full overdraft, but business is business. But at least they were kind enough to do that kind of thing. Also, if you're a veteran, Chase is an amazing bank. The bank account I have, I can go in, free money orders, free cashier's checks. The account I have, it's like the best one they offer. Like, even the people that work there do not have the same level of checking account that I do. I guess generally you would need $25,000 to open a checking account that I have, but as a veteran, you get to open it. I think you need $50 to open it as a veteran. So, just my experience. There's no links or promotional. Nobody's supporting me with anything that I'm saying in this video. Just my experience. So, just wanted to post that out there, and again, I really want to say thank you to all the people that have been watching, been subscribing. Last time I checked this channel, I had like 86 subscribers, and now I think I have 228. So that is amazing. Actually, my nephew, he's obsessed with YouTube, and I went and babysat a couple days ago, and he was like, well, what's your YouTube? Because I told him I had one. Because you got 228 subscribers. Oh, you got a video with 26,000 views. And I was like, what? Are you looking at the right channel? And I looked at it. I was kind of blown back. So I just want to say thank you again to everybody. And, again, if you are not a subscriber, please consider it. And if you do subscribe, don't forget to click on the bell icon and hit all video notifications, because subscriptions don't really mean a lot anymore with YouTube unless you're clicking on all. And for those who made it to the end of the video, I appreciate it, and there'll be more to come. So thank you so much, and we'll see you on the next video.